I've got one of these Campbell Hausfeld self-retracting pneumatic hose dispenser. It's a pretty handy thing, but the hose has a hole in it. So today I'm going to swap out that hose with one of my other hoses and get it put back into service. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take out these two 17mm bolts just to get it off the wall and put it on the bench. Now that we have it on the bench, we're going to go around and remove all the screws on all these holes there, the regular Phillips screws. And if you need to change the feed hose, now's a good time. Just pop off this cover right here with a screwdriver. You can see we can thread on a different hose if we need to do that, which I am going to do because this one that came with it is a little short. Now that we've got it open, don't let this come up or it's spring loaded. Gotta keep that from spinning. So I usually pull it out until you hear it start clicking. Now it's locked. So it can't retract on itself. I'm gonna go back over the other side. This cannot pull out with that fitting on it, so we have to take this fitting off now. And this piece has to come off as well. Take off this connection right here, which happens to be a 14mm on this particular hose, but depending on what hose you have on there, it might be a little bit different. And the whole hose just pulls out. Got it here. Now we've got those hooves out though, we need to save the stopper so it doesn't pull the whole hose inside of the reel. It's just two Phillips screws to pull that out. You're going to need to take off your fitting in order to slide the stopper off the hose. I'm going to spray this up with some soapy water just to make it a little bit easier to get out. It's not like to slide over the end of that, that's for sure. If you do need help getting it off of there, you can set this in a vise or something like that to hold it, and then you pull on this hose and pop it off like that. So now we're going to go get the other hose. When you're selecting your new hose, you need to make sure that your new hose is not longer than the hose you took off of here. Otherwise you'll run out of spring to break it. So same length or shorter is perfect. So the first step we need to do is get this stopper fed onto this hose about down to there. Depending on your hose, the size of your fitting could be different. This one's pretty big, so it's going to be very difficult to get it in there. But we'll spray it up. I'll use the vise just to hold it, and we'll get it on there. Alright, I've got this down over top of the top here. I'd use a heat gun to apply a little heat to soften this up, but then it went right down on there. So now that is there, I'm going to put it out about that far. That just determines how far it's going to hang out of the retractor here. We'll put the stop back on. Alright, that's locked in there good and tight. I'm just going to put my connector back on here real quick. Gotta get the other end. Put it right in there. This one doesn't swivel, so I'm gonna have to turn the whole hose in order to tighten it down. But first thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna put some Okay, so now we need to wind it up, but it goes backwards around the first time. It goes up, and then we go this way. Okay, now you've got it in there. See that it won't move because it's in that groove. This is very important. You're going to stop right here. You're going to put these fittings back in. These go right here. Oh, right there. And right here. And those are for the mounts. If you forget to put those on now, you're going to have a lot of stuff to take apart again. So once those are in place, they just sit there. Then you can take your cover, set that right down on top. The metal bar over here, sometimes you have to adjust that slightly to get it to line up. So get it in there. Got no gap anywhere around the entire. Next we're going to put in our fitting, 90-degree fitting. I like to put a little bit of tape on there. Now this one we're not going to tighten up completely. So I put an extra layer or two on there just to be safe. Because this one has to point down to the hose. Fill gets snug. You don't want to go another time around. Just line it up right there. Hose is going to go straight up there. Hose. A couple rounds of tape on here too. Out. Fight me. Alright. Tighten this one up all the way. Okay, that's all in there. So we're going to check for leaks. Go ahead and hook it up to your air compressor. Make sure nothing's leaking. Because if you've got a leak coming from inside, from our two connections, now's the time to do it before you put all these little screws in there. So I'm just going to hook it up to the air compressor, listen for any leaks, and make sure we're good to go. Alright, I'm back from testing. There weren't any leaks on it. So now we're going to finish putting it together. We're going to snap our cover on. Making sure this is the bottom, make sure it faces the right way. And then we've got all these screws to put in. So I'm going to tighten those all down real quick. Okay, I'm going to go put it on the stand using these two bolts. Doesn't have to be tight because it is going to pivot. But don't forget the bottom gets a little spacer on it before it goes in the bracket. And the bracket goes here, and then the bolt goes on the bottom. I'm actually moving the bracket, so I'm going to go move that real quick, and I'll be back. There it is. I'll mount it up. Ready to go.